This is your Ken, the Yoshkin, bringing you a video kind of like an update and all that. So, I'm not going to try to make this a regular thing, but I do want to upload content regularly, and this is honestly the easiest form I can actually update content. But the two Let's Plays I were doing are coming back, and the Mario Kart guide series is coming back also. I got a video I plan on releasing later on this week. And since I'm saying that, I will do it this week. So, now on with the video. So, Nintendo decided to shut down Miiverse. Not now, but in a few months' time, all the way in November 8th, which is ironically one of my friend's birthday, and secondary, the day that we knew Trump was going to be president of the United States of America. Ha. So, why are they shutting down Miiverse so soon? It might be the reason because they don't like the service that much, but Miiverse was an integral part of the Nintendo Wii's experience because it really did so much. It's so funny. I now know that this is probably going to happen like within the last month of Miiverse. People are going to do their best to get banned as fast as possible, like what happened with Club Penguin, where people tried to get banned as fast as possible from Miiverse, and it's gonna be hilarious to see. It's like, I got banned in 22 minutes. Yes, the fastest ban recorded in history, and no one will be able to break this record. So, on to more important topics. This actually affects games. So, for an example, Mario Kart, you will no longer be able to host tournaments, which is a major part of Mario Kart Online right now, because tournaments are fun and you get to really get hyped for them each and every week they come up to. It's the only real way to actually customize a game mode that everyone can play with you without having their friend code. So that's out. You're no longer able to post any videos to YouTube, which Nintendo already automatically monetizes them anyway. But it's still fun to post videos. I used to, but I stopped and I deleted them because honestly, they weren't made by me, so that's why I deleted them. That's why the Sonic Generations videos are still there. And the reason why I haven't recorded that is because Sony has HDMC, I think, on the PlayStation 3, and that was the way I was played the game, so I was going to go back on the PlayStation 3 and try it, but I can't do it until I get an HDMI splitter, and that's a whole slew of things that's going to happen. That was honestly going to be my returning Let's Play, but it didn't happen like that. So, some games I actually haven't played, like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I have a copy right now. I have it boxed and everything. I haven't touched it because, well, I was busy with a job at that time, and it's just sitting there. And I guess this gives me an incentive to play Xenoblade Chronicles X before Miiverse is shut down, so I can get the full experience before it's gone away forever. And talking about the sudden shutdown of Miiverse is really sad because it shows that if you're on a Nintendo console that just like the ship has sailed and it's done and forever and they're not going to support it anymore, you have to either hurry up to their next platform, which is sad because Miiverse should have stayed around. It should have actually been built upon on the Switch. It was a nice system and things, even though it was very, very restrictive. The Nintendo restrictions and all that. Like, at first it was open, but then they started limiting your posts. Then they started limiting your time of post. Like, they start doing a lot of things. I think year 3 of the Switch's life cycle. I mean, Wii U's life cycle. My bad. And I'm getting all off topic, aren't I? But either way, it's sad to see that that has happened and that they don't really show that they like to have, well, anything to do with their previous consoles after it's out the boat. I know the Wii U sold terribly. Like, I know the Switch is probably going to outsell it year 2 at least. But you could have gave Miiverse 2 years at least, Nintendo. Heck, you already got a system like Miiverse in Splatoon 2 where people can share their drawings. You thought that that was innovative enough for people to draw on the Wii U on the Switch tablet, or use the control stick to draw on the tablet for Splatoon 2. But you decided not to keep Miiverse? I mean, it's your own little social media and you're shutting it down so fast. And it blows my mind that you really don't feel like supporting something that could have been great. Alright, I'm gonna sign into Miiverse today. One of the things I like to do with Miiverse was to sign in and see all the art that people do. And I'm gonna have to do that again before it shut down, because there's gonna be tons of art, because people are talented on there when it comes to art. I can't draw worth anything, and I have a friend that is an amazing drawer, but I can't draw at all. So it makes me sad that they had a platform where they can show their pixel art and their art in general and feel that it's nice. And some art was a bit out there. You know the art I'm talking about, that people would draw and write and stuff. It even appears in Splatoon 2 nowadays. But the point was, it was a social media thing that was dedicated for the Nintendo community, and now you're stripping that away and not replacing it with anything. Well, at least announced yet. You haven't replaced it with anything, but Miiverse was like the perfect name. You have your Miis, which is iconic in itself because it was built upon from the Wii, and almost everyone knows what a Mii is because the Wii was so successful. So Mii, and then verse, as in like universe. So here goes your little universe where you can compile all the Miis of the world and talk to each other with. And now you guys are just stripping that away. Now, the second half of this video, and I know this is just the first half, but I don't feel like making this in a video on itself. But Nintendo partnering with SanDisk, an SD manufacturer, and saying that some games may require more memory, which SD cards may be needed to play the full game. You can play the portion of the game, but you need to have the full game to play. So this is shady, to say the least. Like, really, really shady. I know it's probably really hard to put more memory on a small little Switch, because you can't put like a 2-inch drive, 1 terabyte thing on a Switch. That's not easy to do. And that probably set the cost down on the Switch. But you gonna go and partner with an SD card and say that it's mandatory for some games because the internal memory is so small? That is downright shady. Like I said, it is anti-consumer, and I do not like it at all. It's mind-boggling how no one really liked the memory size at all. Even dedicated Nintendo fans who vouch for you almost every time said, yeah, that's some BS. Why is it only 32 gigabytes? Now, I personally have already bought an SD card near launch, so I got over 100 gigabytes on the thing now, and it can support up to 2 terabytes. But the fact that you're saying that we need an SD card to play certain games, because one of those games, and I can almost guarantee, it's gonna be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's gonna be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You know how big the original Xenoblade was? I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles X, as I said earlier in the video, but those games are huge. And Xenoblade Chronicles X had, what would you call those? It had memory packets that you could put on your Nintendo Wii U, so the game could run smoother because the game was so big and it couldn't fit on the disc. I have a feeling that's going to be the same with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where they're going to have the basic pack so the game can run smoother. They're going to have a textures pack so textures will load faster. They're going to have other packs, or let's say the scale pack, because they might have something to do with things in it like another scale type thing. It's not necessarily going to be a scale, but it's going to be something else. All these little packs and all these things are going to consume a lot of memory, and the Switch only has 24 available gigabytes after all the stuff for the proprietary system and OS and all that other stuff. And then you got to think of updates that come, so you can't really download almost anything to it. Now, I've downloaded plenty of games onto it because I have an SD card, but are you serious? Not every game can run at its full potential? You are telling me I have to buy a memory card, essentially. That's what you're telling me. I have to buy a memory card to play my full game that I bought $60 for. That is ridiculous. I know that the content probably is humongous, but the fact that I have to buy an extra memory stick just to play the full game is stupid. We're not in the GameCube era, the PS2 era, where memory cards were essential because you guys didn't have that much memory that you could store on the system. This is 2017, where memory cards are pretty much obsolete. And this is in terms of video games, not like add-on, not like storage expansions, but in terms of memory cards that I need to actually have in the system in order to play the game fully to save my content. I know this isn't technically the same thing, but it essentially is the same thing. If you're requiring me to play the full game, I need a memory card because I can't access the full game off of that. I don't care how much portion of the game it is. It could be 90%, but if I can't get that 10% that I paid $60 for, it's not worth my time. It's not worth that much. It must not be worth that much. You're going to section off a lot of consumers who don't think that they need all that memory. Well, let's put in a situation. I could be one of the consumers that says wants to get Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, I heard a lot of good things about Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I want to actually give this series a try. So they got a Switch, and they have a few other games. And then they notice in the fine print on the box, may need SD card to experience full game. That will throw people off. They'll like, I don't want to experience this game now. I want to I'll just go buy Mario Kart 8 or Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild because those don't require extra memory for me to play the game. Point and simple. You're going to turn off a lot of consumers that way, Nintendo, and that's not good. The fact that this is being anti-consumer is not a good thing also, and people should be very vocal about this. That's kind of why I'm speaking about this also. So, 2 things that I don't like in one video, guys. How am I doing? And no, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy all the time. If there's something I don't feel that is right that a company I like is doing, I feel the need to call it out. As a consumer, as someone who wants things to get better and not worse, I feel that is the thing you should do as a general consumer. It is only fair that you give them money and give them feedback of what they should do right. Because you're the one that's spending the money on their product. Doesn't matter how big they are, you're the one that's spending money on their product. So it is you who should give feedback on how they're doing. And if you see something that is bad, anti-consumer or something of the like, you should say it. If you say something that's good and should be good for the consumer, you should say that also. But so far, they've been doing great with the Switch. I haven't had many complaints, and well, aside from me being a little excited for Splatoon 2, and I got let down swiftly after the launch, not even a week afterwards. I'm not saying the game's bad, but I do think there are many problems with the game, and that's about it. But that'll be in another video I plan on releasing some other time, maybe next week. Maybe. Or maybe this week. I don't know. But this has been your Ken, the Yosh Ken, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.